What's up, Bears? Eric here, and I'll be honest, this week I was writing notes for videos to make things I wanted to talk about, and I kept hitting a wall. And the reason why is because I cannot stop thinking about the clip from Friday Night Tights, the largest anti-fandom chud grift tube podcast on this platform. I believe it's the biggest one. The clip from Friday Night Tights where Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is arguing with Gary, Nerdrotic, Ryan Cannell from RK Outpost, and Az is jumping in here, or jumping in it here and there, about what they should be doing with their platform. Okay? And it's a really weird clip. There's been a lot of small bits on it. We're going to watch the longer clip to add more context to it. But it's a weird clip because Jeremy is someone that I have felt has been slowly getting, bored with all of this stuff. Talking about Star Wars, talking about Marvel. I talked about this months ago. I have to say, I picked up on this months ago. And I mentioned it on several other podcasts. I've talked about it here on this channel. And to watch him sort of say, hey, we should be talking about One Piece. We should be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. We should be talking about stuff that we think are better shows instead of talking about things we're not watching or we don't care about, like Loki, etc. And I hate to say this, but I agree with him. Like, it's okay to continue to talk about the stuff you don't like. I think that's a fair statement. I mean, we all do it. You talk about things that you're disappointed in or you don't like or whatever. But I also think he makes a good point that there's other things out there that sort of fit the bill for what they're looking for that they're not talking about for whatever reason. So that starts this whole argument between him and the rest of the people on Friday Night Tights. And then it kind of devolves into him calling out Ryan and what they're doing as a grift, as a scam, as a lie. He's like, we create a narrative out of a small bit of news. That's what they do. And Ryan, you make the same video over and over and over again. And this is something that I've been saying, that other people in this space have been saying for a long time. And a lot of people that are fans of this kind of content don't want to believe it. Well, here you go. We're going to watch this clip and then we're going to talk about this. You don't have to believe us. You can take it from Jeremy, the guy who is at the top of Geeks and Gamers. Okay, I want you to understand this is him saying this. This is going to be the full thing within context from where it starts to where it ends. And then I'm going to talk about it. So let's listen to this.
Yeah, One Piece is objectively better.
What's more successful? What's more successful?
Well, One Piece would have been more successful. Like
maybe not. You don't know that.
No, I know that. I absolutely
know.
We do. No,
you
Jeremy,
don't.
Jeremy,
you literally said it took you 4 episodes to get into it. You told me it took you 4 episodes to get into it.
If something's good, it's good. People will watch it anyway, especially if it's weekly.
That's right. My point being is what's dominating? Netflix. All the weekly models, nobody gives a shit about anything coming out.
No, but the point is that we talked about One Piece for 1, maybe 2 weeks.
Yep.
Whereas Five Nights at Freddy's is dominating at the fucking box office, and we're talking about Loki.
We talked
Five
about
Nights
it.
at Freddy's is making more money than any film in recent memory. We're talking about Loki.
We talked about Five Nights at Freddy's. We talked about Five Nights at Freddy's
shitty
this
Marvel
week,
and shitty Star Wars.
but it was relevant.
We would talk about shitty Marvel, shitty Star Wars if it was weekly or if it was binge. We would talk about it. That's what we do.
Yeah, but the thing
I
is,
would rather talk about Five Nights at Freddy's right now. I've seen Five Nights at Freddy's twice.
It's got nothing to do with the actual fucking argument, which is the only reason you brought it up.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
So the argument is we'd still be talking about One Piece because
we should still be talking about One Piece right now. What's stopping us?
It's not in the zeitgeist anymore because they released it all at once. That's
what's stopping us. I'll talk about One Piece right now. Let's talk about it. Fuck this Loki bullshit. I haven't watched it. I don't give a fuck about Marvel. Let's talk about One Piece and Five Nights at Freddy's right now.
No.
Oh, okay then. Well, then don't sit there and tell me that people aren't talking about it. You don't want to talk about it.
Jeremy, I have a 30-minute fucking video on One Piece. You can go watch that.
Okay,
I sat down and edited a 30 fucking minute video.
That's my point.
We spent a month. What's your favorite part?
We could be talking about One Piece right now. No one's stopping us.
No. The weekly model is stopping. We are driven by the zeitgeist of entertainment, Jeremy.
You are. I'm not. No, like Loki said.
I'm sorry, what?
He's still talking about
it. Get the fuck out of here, Jeremy.
We can talk about it right now. What's stopping us from talking about One Piece? What's stopping us?
What is there to talk? The thing is, what is there to talk about with One Piece?
That's the same thing I can ask about Loki. What is there to talk about? It's dog shit. It's Marvel.
It just came out.
Yes, a new episode just came out, and we covered
and nobody cares about it.
Like your Five Nights at Freddy's thing is that's relevant because it's here. Now I don't care about Five Nights at Freddy's. I never played the video game. I'm not even into horror movies, so it's not a particularly compelling thing for me to care about. But if you're asking, why aren't we talking about One Piece first? Why aren't we talking about, why are we talking about Loki?
Loki, you guys brought it up.
No, you brought up.
You're making that argument literally right.
You said no one's talking about One Piece.
You're making the argument right now, which is why I brought this up now.
I said no one is stopping us from talking about One Piece. No one. We can talk about it every week.
But then you ask, why aren't we talking about it now? You asked that question. I'm trying to fucking answer that question.
Yes.
And the answer is, what is there to talk about with One Piece?
A lot more than there is to talk about with Loki.
You wouldn't, first of all, you wouldn't know.
You haven't watched One Piece.
I haven't watched One Piece.
Okay.
But why don't you guys who did watch it tell me what there's to talk about now, 5 weeks after the fact, we've got no new material out when we're doing a fucking topical news show? Like,
I've been making Last Jedi videos for 4 years.
Now, I would have loved...
When's the last Jedi video you made?
Yesterday. Yesterday, literally yesterday.
You compare
Ryan.
it to what? Something that we just got news about for Ahsoka?
No.
What would you compare it to?
I was tying in the fact that was the beginning of the bot army bullshit.
No, well, I didn't watch that video.
Of course you didn't.
Yeah.
But
so there you go. I made a Last Jedi video yesterday.
Jeremy, was it based on something topical? Yes, because Gina Carano just put out a tweet. You fucking idiot. You know, you fucking make up arguments and then just have them go out in circles. I don't follow trends, although you literally say I just created trending before I make a video. Something I don't do.
I just created a One Piece discussion right now. I just created one for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, but I would have liked.
Did we just talk about One Piece for 5 minutes? Yes or no?
We didn't.
Yes,
One Piece was used, but we didn't talk about it.
No.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we do.
I don't build a narrative. I give my
absolute
opinion.
Fucking.
You are hard.
We do. You've made the same fucking video on the same topic at least 7 times a week, Ryan. And you're gonna act like we don't do that.
I talk about I talk about
says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
I talk about things that are in the news, and when something comes out that's an update to that, I talk about it, Jeremy. And guess what? If fucking there were more episodes of One Piece coming out and I cared about something like that or something that was topical, that I would be talking about that, but it's not. In the same way, I'm not. In the same way that I did not make a Mission Impossible video for months after it came out, after I talked about it flopping, until there was something very topical in the news about it when it got fucking delayed. The next one got delayed. So then I fucking talked about it because it's topical in the news.
All right. So that is a large portion of that clip. I'm sorry that did take a while to get through, but that provides a lot of context for what's happening here. So let's talk about the takeaway from this. So first of all, Nerdrotic Gary, and I don't know if he's ever admitted this before, but he's like, we only talk about stuff that's popular in the zeitgeist, which, to be honest, I mean, I guess that is not a huge reveal, but it also doesn't make sense for why they wouldn't talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, because that movie is still making money, it's still in theaters. They could be talking about it, and that's the argument that Jeremy is making here. Ryan argues it's a topical news show, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they have guests on that are talking about things that are not topical, so that's also not necessarily true. But here's the deal. Okay, listening to all that, one thing that I took away from it is that all of the things I assumed about how they function behind the scenes is absolutely true, right? They find one small thing in the news and they build a narrative out of it, aka they just make up stuff. They talk about their feelings. They just kind of speculate about stuff. They do all of this to drive people to their videos, to drive people to their channels, whether they're being honest or not. It's literally just creating a narrative around a small bit of news and making the same videos over and over and over again, which, when Jeremy called Ryan out on that, I thought that was quite interesting. It's there's a lot of stuff here that sort of exposes them for what they do. This is how they function. This is what they're about. And if you didn't want to believe me, or you didn't want to believe anybody else who've been saying this for a long time now, that's Jeremy, D-Day Cobra, the person in charge of Geeks and Gamers, expressing frustration that they're continuously talking about Star Wars. They're continuously talking about these things that they do not like. Loki, he says that nobody's watching, things they don't care about. When better things are out there, Ryan Cannell's not watched One Piece, he said. He didn't watch Five Nights at Freddy's. Strictly just creating content to stoke culture wars, to create anger from viewers, to get clicks on their videos. This is the frustration that we've talked about within the fandom. These people are not fans of this content. They're just not. What he is saying there is they specifically go out, look for things that are being talked about, and build a narrative around it. That is not a fan. If you're a fan of something, you enjoy something, you watch it, then you might want to talk about it. Otherwise, you're just lying to people. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. This is what Jeremy said from Geeks and Gamers, the person, one of the top people in this space. So it makes me a bit annoyed, like debunking content, to be quite honest. It makes me a bit annoyed because if you're someone that supports these people and you hear someone at the top end sort of letting the cat out of the bag, how can you continue to support this? How can you continue to give them money and support their channels when you have the person, one of the top people, one of the biggest people in this space, who's been at the core of this for a really long time, telling you that it is all constructing narratives based on small pieces of news, looking at trending, picking something small and making a narrative out of it. It's not about making a difference. It's not about fixing Hollywood. It's not about creating better content. That is not what it's about. Even if they tell you that, say it publicly, that is not what they do. Gary admitted that here, Ryan admitted that here, and Jeremy talked about it here. And Az didn't contribute a fucking thing. He was just an idiot like he always is. But anybody in this space that is part of this is doing the same thing. That's why they all make the same kinds of videos. So you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take the initiative word for it. You don't have to take anybody else in this space's word for it. The head of Geeks and Gamers said it himself on the biggest live stream in Chud space. I think that is highly important. I think it's noteworthy. And I don't know if it's even worth it to cover Geeks and Gamers and Ryan Cannell anymore after this. Maybe not even Nerdrotic after this, because they're admitting it to their fans. And if you're still someone that is a fan of this and contributing your money to this, thinking they give a fuck about the stuff that you care about, you are wasting your money. And if you can live with that, that's fine. But you have to admit to yourself that this is what is happening. You're throwing your money away to a bunch of people that chase narratives and create content that is topical, that do not care about the stuff they're talking about. That is what this video said. It was said right to your face. It was made very explicit. So if you're one of those people, you don't have to take my word for it. Take Jeremy's word for it, because he is the one that said it, and he is the one who is out here touting it out. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. Again, I was trying to make notes for something to create a new video for this week. I couldn't get this out of my mind. I wanted to make this video. I didn't have a lot of time to put together as much as I would like. Maybe we'll talk about it more on another stream. Maybe I'll make another video about it. I'm not totally sure. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this down below. I think this is a pretty big deal that's kind of getting swept under the rug when you have somebody at the level of Jeremy calling them out and saying all the things that we've been saying about them for a long time, and saying it from a place of being a part of that community. I think it's a pretty big deal, and I think they need to be called out more on this. This clip should never die. This should be around forever. I think anytime they say anything and make 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 videos about it, this clip needs to be something that plays in your head. Thanks for watching.